The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Discretion is advised.
Episode 119 of Rare Form Radio. I'm basically by myself today. Darren is busy handling some life things. Heidi is in New York. So today is just me, all by my lonesome, with my guest. And my guest is a very interesting gentleman. I'm going to let him explain how we know each other. But since it's October and we're doing kind of like a Halloween-ish themed month, I'm trying to keep it kind of horror, fun related. So my guest today, his name is Chase Andersen, and he kind of, I'm going to let him explain better, but he sort of oversees the Texas Chain Saw Massacre licensing side of merchandising and archives and all kinds of fun stuff. I think that's right, but let's bring him on. Chase Andersen. How are you, buddy?
Hey.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks.
How you been?
I've been good. Thanks
Good.
for having me on the show. I'm
Likewise.
glad to be here.
Thanks for being here.
We finally made it happen.
I know we've been trying for, I feel like, a few months to make this happen.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And then, like, we were close in August, September. And at that point, it was like, let's just do October.
Yeah.
You know, it makes
make
sense.
It count when spooky season.
Yeah, absolutely. So I gave you an intro.
Right.
How close is that to what you really do?
It's pretty close. It's kind of hard to pin down exactly what my day-to-day is, but essentially I run the day-to-day operations of the Texas Chain Saw Massacre brand and everything from product development to not licensing so much. That's another arm of our business, but I do send over the approvals for anything that comes through to be licensed, or anything from Universal Studios to any kind of t-shirts that want to be made to I do graphic design, I do video editing, social media.
Yeah.
You name it. I kind of do it. I wear many different hats. And then on top of that, I also own the Texas Chain Saw Museum, which is the world's largest private collection of memorabilia from the 1974 film.
I mean, come on.
I do a few things.
When did you start that? Because that's how you and I first connected, was due to Texas Chain Saw memorabilia, right?
Yeah. I forget exactly how we connected.
Yeah.
I would just off the top of my head, I'd say maybe it was social media, but it came.
Has to have been.
Can we talk about the item?
Of course.
In your collection?
Yeah. So that's what it was.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yes.
So for those of you that don't know, Dan owns the door to the Black Maria truck, which was in the ending of the film when Leatherface chases Sally out of the house. The big rig truck, the cattle truck driven by Ed Gwynn, pulls up. She hops inside. They close the door. Leatherface tries to chainsaw his way in, right? He's a big, dumb dog, so he doesn't know the difference between wood or steel. He tries he tries to make the chainsaw go through the door, and it doesn't, but it leaves all these cool marks.
Yeah.
And that was actually a prop door that they used for the big rig, so it didn't ruin the real door.
So it's a piece of steel that they kind of attached to the outside of the door.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And so you own that.
Yeah.
And we figured out that you own it. And then we started talking because of all the stuff that I have in my collection. And in December of 2019, I had an exhibit at Lethal Amounts.
It was that long ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because we had a year off from life, of course.
No, the pandemic threw everybody's timeline off. I don't even know where I'm at half the time.
You're safe now.
I am. I feel safe.
Good.
I do feel safe. But that's how we kind of really connected outside of just chit chat back and forth. Was you were kind enough to loan us your door to display at the exhibit for the Texas Chain Saw Museum over there in LA. And then
that was an honor, by the way. And it was so cool to be a part of it. And I didn't know what to expect until I brought it to you that day. And there was so much cool shit in there. Like unreleased photographs and pieces of the set and artwork and the what were those cassettes that you had? There was like
cassettes,
like audio cassettes in there. Was that
audio cassettes?
Maybe not.
That's not ringing a bell.
Okay. Someone might have been walking around with something, but was most of the stuff on that display yours, or was stuff donated from a bunch of people, or what?
No, that was all mine. The only part that was on loan was from you.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, all that stuff lives with me.
Amazing.
In various stages of storage.
And when did you start collecting? Oh, let me start first. Why Texas Chain Saw Massacre?
I mean, have you seen the movie?
A couple times.
A couple times. It was one of those things that set it apart from all the other horror movies out there because it could happen.
Yeah.
It was grounded in reality. There's nothing supernatural about any of the characters. The way it was filmed puts you in the role of a participant versus an observer.
Oh, interesting.
Right.
Yep.
So they use a lot of organic close-up camera angles, first-person point of view, and that really puts you as a spectator in the driver's seat. So you're not just watching it, it's actually happening to you. And so that's something for me, and I'm sure for many others, that was a very visceral experience. It was something that was very surreal and cerebral because it really grabs you by the spine from the get-go with the flashbulb stingers and the images of the drippy corpse at the beginning, and you just know that you're in for something that you've never seen before. Even if the first time that you saw it was in the 80s. Like, I can't imagine what it would have been like for somebody 1974 that saw that for the first time. I mean, that's just a face melter.
Absolutely.
So it was one of those things that just, it was a moment of crystallization in my growth.
Sound. Yeah.
That flashbulb stinger is just all time.
The best.
Yeah, the best. It was just one of those things that really, really took hold and made an impact on me. Like I said, because it could happen in real life. There's nothing supernatural about those people. And to think that human beings could degenerate to the point to where, they're doing stuff like what Ed Gein did, and they're wearing other people's skin, and they're kind of straddling that line between what's acceptable in society if you're the role of the cook where you're the proprietor of the gas station, but at the same time you're beating a girl in a bag with a stick because you're going to take her home for dinner, cook her up, and eat her.
Mm-hmm. And there's so many of the characters in the film of the bad guys are sadistic, but then when you think about Leatherface, he's not really sadistic. He's a protector. He's just, if you look at him, if you study it, he's terrified for most of the movie. Like, he's just like, what are these people doing in my house?
Yep.
Got to get, where are they going? Where are they coming from? What's going on? I got to get them out of here. And it is like, you called him a big dumb dog, and it's like he's like a pit bull protecting his house.
Yeah, he's an animal, basically. He doesn't have any kind of sensibility. He doesn't really have the ability to reason. He just acts on base instinct, and that is the protection of his house and his family. So, when you couple that with the fact that he wears the faces of his victims, I don't know. There's something about that really got under my skin and gave me the heebie-jeebies, and it still does to this day, along with the way that it was filmed. And, it was shot in 16 millimeter, blown up to 35, so it has that almost snuff film look to it. I mean,
everyone makes the point that when you watch it, it feels like you're watching a documentary.
Yeah.
Because there's a score, but it's not like traditional songs. There's no traditional instruments.
No.
It's farmyard tools with violin bows and all weird rubbing, vibrating, rusty.
I've always said that that's one of the things that they've never been able to get right with the other movies is that there's no formal orchestral score.
Yeah.
Right? It's just a bunch of gongs and banging around. And I mean, if you think about it, maybe that's kind of the music that those knuckleheads would play if they were to gather around the campfire.
Hillbilly kind of shit.
Yeah, just super far out, off the grid, living in isolation, not taking the trash out, but like collecting trash, right? It's almost like a hoarding type situation, except it's with people and bones and the remains of your victims.
Very good call.
There's so many different aspects. I mean, we could probably have a whole show on just the film itself and why it impacts people the way that it does, because there's so many things that went into it. It's lightning in a bottle, It's the ragtag group of filmmakers in Austin, fresh out of school with something to prove, and they just take it to the most extreme nth degree that they possibly can. And luckily for us, this was the result.
They definitely captured magic, and it's something that they could never recreate if they tried.
No,
all the circumstances, filming in Texas in July, August, whatever they were filming
summer
in
1973. I mean,
miserable.
You feel the way that it was shot. You feel the heat. You feel the sweat. You feel the rust. That color palette is almost a character in itself. Same way that the house and the charnel house, right? The bone room and everything. That's a character. It's not
every
just
aspect.
Set.
Yep.
There's much more to it. So on the conscious level, people don't think about that stuff. But if you really take the time and try to pick it apart, there's many layers that contribute to why it's such an impactful film. It's not just because it was, some people say it was transgressive for its time, which is for sure it was transgressive. But there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more layers to peel back. And like I said, we could. How much time you got?
Well, we got as much time as we can possibly take. And one thing that also makes the movie effective to me is the kids in it. It's so relatable, and besides Franklin, I know Franklin annoys people, but they were genius because they make him annoying, but he's also in a wheelchair, so you sympathize for him. And all 5 of the kids in it. There's 5 of them, right? There's 5 of
Yeah.
them. They feel real, and it bothers you when they go. Like you kind of care. And most horror movies now, that's something I hate about modern horror, is that they make characters that you just want to see get killed, but that gives you no emotional reaction, really.
Right.
I mean, it's fun and you laugh it off or whatever, but
Right.
it's so much more effective when someone dies when you're like, I like that person.
Yeah.
Or like they just seem nice, just having a good time.
No, character building, you want to be able to identify with the victim, because that way when they get into a precarious situation, like going into somebody's house in the middle of nowhere, you feel the same kind of tension that they feel, right? Your palms get sweaty just from seeing what's happening on screen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Franklin's super annoying, but he was designed that way, and putting him in a wheelchair, I mean, you're chainsawing a disabled person?
And he's the first person to go too.
Frank.
Oh, you're right. He's not.
No, Kirk was the first
right,
one.
that's right.
But that was part of the, I mean.
The reveal, when you first see Leatherface, it's Franklin. Basically Franklin's death, isn't it? When you first see his
when you
real
first
face?
see Leatherface, it's Kirk.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, played by Bill Vale.
Of course,
with
the
the steel door.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But casting unknown actors just further cements the reality of what you see taking place on screen.
Very true.
Right? You don't
recognize him from anything.
It's not Robert Downey Jr. playing his role, right?
Right.
You know, it's not what's her name from Rosemary's Baby?
Oh my God, Mia Farrow.
Yeah, it's not Mia Farrow playing a role in a horror movie. It's you don't know who these people are.
They're us.
It's Kirk. It's Franklin. It's Pam. It's Sally.
Yep.
It's Alan.
How old were you when you first saw the movie?
I think I was 13, and it was a movie that wasn't going to be allowed to be played in the house because of the subject matter. So I waited till the folks were out and took a bike ride over to Blockbuster. And
oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, we watched it. I watched it, and I didn't quite believe what I was seeing. And that for a long time, that was kind of the end of it. I saw it when I was really young, and it didn't really get under my skin until a little bit later.
I could not agree more. I can't believe you said that.
Yeah.
Because like
there was a lot to process at that age, you know.
I was into horror. I think I saw Nightmare on Elm Street when I was 5. Like my mom was a big horror fan. Like she's the one that got me into horror.
Okay, I got another. That's funny.
Okay, yeah, hold that. And so I was into Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. I got into all those, and then which are pretty flashy, high energy, kind of fast paced sometimes.
Yeah.
And then I went backwards because I didn't think to start watching movies that came out before I was born. I was born in '79, so like Freddy and Jason were peak my childhood.
Yeah.
So when I was like, I don't know, 10, 11, 12, maybe something like that, I worked back and I rented Texas Chain Saw, and I watched it, and I just wanted to see Leatherface. I didn't care about the rest of the story, so it didn't have an effect on me, just like you said. And then a few years later, I went back again and opened my mind up a little bit, took it in. I'm like, wait a minute, this movie is kind of perfect in almost every way. And then maybe 10 years ago, I wanted to make my own short film, and I wanted it to feel real and everything. And I went back, and I remember Texas Chain Saw. I mean, I've seen it multiple times since, but I wanted to watch it from like a filmmaker's point of view,
right, from a critical
to
perspective.
study it.
Yeah.
And then that's when I really realized this is one of the all-time greats on so many levels. And it
Totally.
at that point it kind of leapfrogged towards the top of my favorite horror movies.
Yeah.
And it's a tough feat. Like I said, it couldn't be recreated if they tried.
No, that's one of the things that they try and they miss and they give it the old college go, but it's not something that I don't know. I got two perspectives on it. One, you can't recreate it, but two, the blueprint's right there.
Right? Yeah, I know what you mean.
I feel like if you take into consideration certain things outside of the studio system, which is when this film was made, and if you get something put together that doesn't involve a room full of suits, you might be able to get pretty close.
Yeah.
I think it's possible.
Yep.
I think under the right conditions and circumstances, I think it could be recreated. But until that day happens, hopefully we can make that happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was born in '78.
Okay.
And so I remember for Nightmare on Elm Street, I was walking through my friend's living room. I was, I think it's like 5 or 6, 1985 when it first came out on tape, and they were watching it. It was the middle of the day. And I walked in on the scene where Tina's getting thrown around the room.
Yep.
That stuck with me. that stuck with me for a long time. And it kind of, I always been into like weird stuff. Like I always loved the Twilight Zone marathon and Monsters and Addams Family. And I had all the Universal Monster toys, the things, the Remcos that glow in the dark and stuff. Always just been kind of, I don't want to say like a weird kid, but just kind of.
I mean, that horror was my escape.
I mean, I don't know, anymore these days, you sound like I feel like maybe people are tooting their own horns. Oh, I've been doing this forever. Where you guys been? But
listen, some people have been doing it forever.
But some people have been doing it forever, right? Some people, it's just like part of your DNA. So later on, I started finding the horror movies and some of the more graphic stuff, Hellraiser, Friday the 13th, and things of that nature. And then it wasn't until I revisited Texas Chainsaw years later, I was like, oh, wow. It's the same as like you, like, oh, whoa.
Yeah, like the other ones, they're great movies. I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street is, I could also consider kind of a masterclass in horror filmmaking and general filmmaking.
Absolutely.
But those movies, the normal slasher movies, just have a different recipe. It's a different formula, totally different feel. But Texas Chainsaw, it has that documentary. I'm nervous. I don't know why I'm so nervous because, like you said, this could happen. Those other movies, Pinhead's not going to come to you and tear your dick off with chains. No, I hope not.
No, but I mean, in the real world, none of that stuff could really take place, right? It's all
Halloween could, I guess, technically, sort of.
It's all pretty fantastical, right?
And there's definitely supernatural elements to Michael Myers that don't make sense.
No, for sure. But I think the other element is, I think it's twofold. I think one, because they promoted it as being a true story, even to the point where they included it in their opening crawl with that narration by John Larroquette that really sets the tone for the rest of the movie. But also, some of it is based on the real life crimes of Ed Gein. And so in that regard, maybe, not maybe, but yeah, some of that stuff really did happen, right?
Yeah.
The guy was not playing with a full deck.
That's a very nice way to put it.
Yeah, no, Ed Gein was far out, right? So he inspired Psycho, he inspired Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs, he inspired, Leatherface. But the fact that he was isolated in a farmhouse, just living in his own filth and wallowing in his skin creations and decorations.
Which included his mom. Did he wear his mom too?
He didn't wear his mom. I think he
dug her up.
I think did he dug her up?
I think so.
I don't know that he did. I don't think he did. I think what he did was he closed off her room. He closed off her room and he left her room as it was when she passed away. And the one thing that he held on to was her crucifix, which I have had the pleasure of holding.
No shit.
Yeah, a buddy of mine who's the godfather of true crime.
Joe, or what's his name? What's his name?
No, Rick Staten.
Oh, okay.
Is his name. He was John Wayne Gacy's art dealer.
Okay.
I visited him a few years ago in Louisiana, and he has Augusta Gein's crucifix. That
amazing.
Yeah, Ed Gein gifted it to a pen pal that he had when he was in the sanitarium. And then Rick acquired it from him, and you can see like on the Jesus that's on the crucifix, he's all worn down from where she would wring her hands.
I just got goosebumps.
Yeah, I got pictures of. I did a whole photo shoot with it because it had energy, man. It was super weird.
Oh, I believe it.
It was something really special, and
I believe it.
Yeah, he was kind enough to let me kind of hold.
It's weird that objects can hold that kind of energy. A couple months ago, I was back east and visiting family, and someone I know closely was cleaning out a barn, and they found an old Nazi Air Force helmet, and it was they don't know where the fuck it came from, but holding it, I felt super weird. Like there definitely like obviously bad energy in that motherfucker.
Yucky,
yeah,
icky,
a little gross, But what else did you handle at that guy's place besides a crucifix? Anything else? Anything wild?
No, it was just the crucifix was the main thing. He's got stuff from all strata of true crime, thinning down his collection, but he had a lot of John Wayne Gacy paintings and things that were done custom for him. He was a movie poster dealer for a long time, so a lot of 50s and 60s B movie posters and stuff like that. But the crucifix was that's wild. That was a milestone.
Yeah, I have a couple friends who had sex in Ted Bundy's car.
Oh wow! All right,
pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, that's some energy.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so where did you grow up?
I grew up in Huntington Beach.
Right here.
Yeah, born and raised in Southern California.
Okay.
My family's been here for 4 generations, LA.
Okay. No shit.
Yeah, we've been.
You
here
don't
for a
find
while.
that much.
No, we've been around for a while.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you for taking us all into your beautiful Southern California home.
I don't claim to own anything. We're just a part of it, as
Cool.
everybody else is. But yeah, we've been around for a while.
So what was your first piece in your collection?
Oh wow. There's 2 timelines. The original, when I first started collecting, was the McFarlane, like you have right there.
Yep.
I found one of those.
The Movie Maniacs?
Yeah, the Movie
right?
Maniac.
Yep.
Yeah, I found one of those at a comic book shop in the package. I paid like $50 for it, and
Don't you wish those were around when we were kids? Can you imagine?
oh man, can you imagine?
like G.I. Joe's, be gone. Like I would have been with all these
I don't
guys.
know, maybe it's for the best that it wasn't, because who knows what kind of turn my life would have taken.
You might have a point.
You know, if I was playing with psycho killers and maniacs when I'm 12 years old. So I got one of those in the package, and I was like, man, this thing's really cool. I wish I could, like, I want to take it out, but I don't want it to lose its value. Not that it was worth very much, but it's always worth more when it's in,
Of course.
in the
Toy collectors know that. Collectors know that.
yeah, when it's in the blister pack, it's always worth more. Well, some dude that I knew had one that was loose, and he gave it to me, and I was like, oh man, this is really cool. I wish there was more, right? Like He-Man had Castle of Grayskull, Ninja Turtles had, you know, their van in the sewer, and
Police Academy had the firehouse or
Yeah.
the police house.
yeah, right. Ghostbusters had Ecto One, and like there was all kinds of different stuff to go with it. This was cool, but it's just him with his bucket of parts and the movie poster
Yep.
in the background. So I just started putting together dioramas. I started putting together these little, you know, scenes of like the hook and the table with a little button that you would press that had a face on it that would light up, and just I made my own.
That is amazing.
Right. And long story short, things transpired in my life that took me on a different route than I had planned. Years later, I got back into collecting and kind of refocused my life. And I saw that Gunnar Hansen was having a signing appearance for his book that came out in 2013.
That's the Chainsaw Confidential.
The Chainsaw Confidential over at Dark Delicacies in Burbank.
Gunnar Hansen, by the way, if obviously he's the guy that played the original Leatherface. Yeah.
Yeah.
Define the role.
Yeah. So the original Leatherface showing up close to home. Go buy his book, check it out, something to do. And I went and I made sure to be the last person in line because I wanted to
Talk a little bit.
I wanted to talk
Smart.
a little bit. I wanted to talk a little bit. So I hung out, signed the book, and we ended up talking for like 20 minutes, took pictures. Dan Yeager was there, the guy who played Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw 3D. Met him and his wife.
Yep.
Took some pictures. And
He's a great man.
no, he's super cool. He actually came to a Halloween party we had one year dressed up as like a Frankenstein, and
Amazing.
it was super cool. He's a great guy.
We had him on. I did a show with Dave Navarro for years. He came on that, and it was such a blast.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
He brought some of the props from the film he was in,
Oh, cool.
like the newspaper clippings and I think something else. but
Oh,
it was
very cool. So yeah, that just kind of ignited this renewed interest in collecting. It really sparked me to get excited. I had been doing Leatherface costumes at the conventions just because I was into it and it was fun. And I mean, I'm not 6'4", but I got the stature where I'm,
Oh, yeah, you're a big guy.
I'm
it
a big
works.
guy, so I could I could pull it off, right? I don't look like Skinny Bone Jones trying to swing a plastic chainsaw around. And that was the other thing, right? I had a actual pool in 245 that would start up. So the horror conventions and movie premieres and stuff, people get stoked on that kind of thing. So I'd take that and do that. And
By the way, you still post a lot of videos of that on your Instagram, which is at Texas. Go ahead.
I have to look it up.
It's at the official TCM Museum. That's what it is. The official TCM Museum is your Instagram.
The official TCM museum. That's right.
And you post videos. You go down to the house still, and you still scare the kids and stuff, right?
Yeah, I still, I don't have as much time as I used to, but when I get the chance, I still like to dress up and scare people and give them some memories. And I'm good friends with the owners and proprietors of the house over in Kingsland, Texas, where the house was moved in 1998 and turned into a restaurant.
I've still never been there. I got to get down there.
Yeah, it's good. It's a cool place. The people that own it are super nice. The food's really good. It's its own little pocket in the Texas Hill Country up there, over by Lake LBJ. Mm-hmm. It's nice, and they don't actively promote it, but they do accept it.
They have to.
Well,
They'd be silly not to.
It's a different crowd that goes there to eat, right, at the restaurant. It's not.
I was going to ask you: is most of the crowd not fan people?
No, most of the crowd is
Locals.
local Texans from Kingsland and the surrounding areas. So
Okay.
they're pretty I mean, they're just regular folk, right? It's not even like LA. I don't know if you've ever been to Texas or anything.
Oh, many times on tour. Right. I've been there 20 times.
So just, I mean, they're just normal people.
Yep.
But they do get a fair amount of tourists that come through, and they acknowledge it, and they have some stuff set up. One of the guys that's part owner owns the Club Car Bar. His name's Brad Jones, and he has some memorabilia set up for, pictures. I recently helped him get the Jemmy 6-foot animatronic so that people have something to take a picture
cool.
with.
Yep.
Yeah, and you just got photos from the film and to sell some t-shirts and shot glasses, and I think they have like a themed margarita, like I think it's Leatherface's Bloody Massacre or something.
It sounds like they do it perfectly. Where
they do.
We are a restaurant and we also have this little thing for you guys.
So they don't discourage it, but at the same time they don't encourage it. Mm-hmm. And from time to time they'll host events because, I mean, you can't deny the history that's attached to that property. So
it's as far as if you think about homes, famous homes in film history, horror history, it's in the top 5.
Oh, for sure.
Psycho House probably number 1, I would think. I mean, yeah, it's up there
for sure.
I mean, it's iconic.
Yeah, so I do still go do all that kinds of stuff. I go to Texas pretty regular just for work, but also to hang out just because I like it there. And, if there's movie events and stuff like that and I got some free time, I'll throw on the mask and rev up the chainsaw. And,
it's a thrill, isn't it?
You know what it is more than anything is I feel like it builds a sense of community. I've had more than on one occasion people write me and say, hey, this was the first time that I took my 10-year-old to see Texas Chain Saw Massacre at the drive-in. And his first experience was running into Leatherface, waving a roaring chainsaw, and he'll never forget that as long as he lives, and neither will I. You've given us a lifetime of memories in one night. I can't thank you enough.
Goosebumps again.
Yeah. So that's really the reason that I do it, because I know what it's like to be on the other side of that.
I mean, it sounds silly, but that actually is very beautiful. You know what I mean? Like for building memories with family and stuff over something like that. Like it's scary and it's like based on a movie, but it's like a real nice memory. You know what I mean? It's beautiful.
No, and that's what I, even at the conventions, there's, little kids come up to me and I'll scare them and I'll see that they get super scared. But then afterwards, I'll come down to eye level and shake their hand and let them know, like, you don't have to be afraid. Cool. It's super fun. So I like to provide that for people because that's what I like. When I go to the theme parks, I like to go and do stuff and create memories. For me, the stuff is peripheral. It's all about the experience.
Yep. Yeah.
Did
you notice because you dress up sometimes. When I maybe 8-9 years ago, I've been working for Jane's Addiction as a guitar tech for 14 something years, and there was a whole tour I did where I dressed as Leatherface as a guitar tech.
Oh, cool.
Did I ever show you that picture?
No, I've never seen that.
Let me show you this picture. So I was Dave Navarro's guitar tech.
That's awesome.
But I was in full regalia, and I want to ask you a question about it. Let me find this real quick.
Yes, it's awesome.
So that's Dave and I on the side of the stage.
Oh, rad.
So I would go out and do guitar changes and everything wearing that, and did it a couple times in Texas, and it was a thrill. But I noticed, and I've heard other actors who have played these roles say it, when you put the mask on, you do feel like a different person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking? Do you feel that way?
No, absolutely.
Because you're playing a role, but you're no longer you.
No.
And I can see how people can get lost in those kind of roles and how fun it could be to be a villain in a movie.
Yeah.
Like when you look at Joaquin Phoenix in The Joker, and when you see someone become something, so much of it is just changing your appearance.
Yeah.
Michael Myers.
Yeah.
It's I mean, look at this. The mask, it's spooky, whatever, but it changes who you are inside.
Absolutely, it does. It's very freeing. I've seen the movie God knows however many times. So aside from just putting on the mask, I try to, depending on what mask I wear, I try to adopt the same gait, the same walk, the same mannerisms, the same type of energy that he had when he was in that role in the film.
You do a great job. And
I
mean it sincerely,
No,
because
thank you.
I know what to look for. I know there's certain,
There's a little bit
depending
of-
on which leg is hurting.
There's a little bit of a hunchback that goes into it. There's a little bit of uncertainty because, like I said, he's a big dumb animal.
Yeah.
So I take all that into consideration when I put the mask on, so that I can give people the experience. But also, I feel like I become that character. I'm not Chase anymore. I feel like, I don't want to say like I'm my true self, because that's pretty far out, but I feel like I've got it to a point where I can kind of slip in and out of it on command. And I mean, it's funny. Like nowadays, my wife she'll see pictures and she can't even tell sometimes out in the wild. She'll be like, "Was that you, or is that from the movie?"
You know, it's funny. I look for the hands. I look for the tattoos.
Yeah. No,
That's the one thing that bums me out about Halloween is that I have, the tattoos. You can't fully embrace the role. Do people call you Leatherchase at all?
No, this is the first time.
Bullshit.
That's a good one.
Bullshit.
Leatherchase.
Dude, when you're in the
That's
costume,
on and cracking now.
Leatherchase.
Hell yeah.
You're kidding me. No one's ever said that?
No.
Oh, well, you're welcome.
Thank you.
If you get nothing else from this show, Leatherchase. It's
Trademark
yours.
that shit.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's good.
No.
You might have to start a new Instagram page.
Leatherchase.
Yeah.
Chainsaw Chase is what my handle for a lot of different stuff, but
That was your name in my phone before I knew your last name. It was Chainsaw Chase.
Chainsaw Chase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leatherchase, dude.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There you go. There you
Yeah,
go.
no, it is. It's a total experience putting on the costume, and for people too, because the people, in the early days before I was married, my wife, she'd get upset because I'd have all these girls fawning all over me and putting their legs on me and getting touchy feely, and they don't understand that I'm not really the masked killer.
Right.
I'm just a dude.
I'm just a guy,
right.
with a
She'd get
with a
mad, she'd
wife.
be like, what are those girls doing? I'm like, no, it's not me. It's Leatherface. It's totally different.
This is such a script for a movie. Like a guy becomes a cosplaying horror guy just to get a bunch of side chicks
Right?
and
Who
everything.
cares about being a rock star with cosplay? It's some
That's
weirdo.
it, dude. That's it.
So yeah, it definitely blurs the line between reality and fantasy. But like I said, the whole reason I do it, and I think the whole reason people attend conventions and watch horror movies is to escape from reality, but also to have those memories and create new experiences.
100%.
At least that's why I do. Maybe other people just want to get off on the gore and shit.
I'm sure it's everything. Yeah.
It probably is all rolled up.
Did you watch the new Halloween movie?
I did.
Yeah. Speaking of gore and brutalness, they definitely focused very heavily on some crazy ass kills.
Yeah. They definitely got creative with the kills. I feel sometimes at the expense of a storyline.
Thank you. Evil dies tonight. Get the fuck out of here.
Did I say that out loud?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
I liked the movie. I liked it, but it definitely felt like, okay, this is just a bridge movie to the third one. You know what I mean?
It did feel like a filler.
Yep.
Like filler. But
Which we all knew was coming, which I think is why they filled it with such great kills, actually. Pretty great kills, I thought.
Yeah. No, the kills were interesting, but it does kind of take away the suspense of, obviously, we know, not Leatherface, Michael Myers isn't going to die because there's another movie coming out. Right. So what do? You keep Michael Myers and Laurie Strode separate for the whole movie so that when the rubber band snaps back in the next direction for part 3, you have an explosive kind of reunion.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess, but at the same time, I don't know, I have a hard time with dialogue and things that don't resonate in real life, right? Like when you see, I don't know about you, I've never seen anybody getting murdered by Michael Myers, but if I did, I don't think I'd stand there in awe.
No.
I think I'd probably be screaming bloody murder.
Yeah.
And I see that a lot in horror movies where people are just at a loss for words. Like, I get when you're petrified and you can't do anything.
Not everybody goes into shock.
No, but not everybody goes into vapor lock, right?
Right,
I mean,
right.
there's got to be, and then some of the other shit that they like Evil Dies Tonight. Really,
That was a tough one for me.
really,
Like a lot of overacting in it.
that's the best you got.
Right. And like you can say it once, but
Do better.
we don't have to, I don't want to spoil anything, but like the chanting and the mob stuff, it's like, all right, we get it. It's a Trump thing or whatever we're doing here. I don't know what's going on, but
There was that uproar online. They had that petition to have the scene removed where the firefighters get slaughtered in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I can suspend my disbelief. I can get into it. Into it, right? I can feel it.
And actually, it was kind of, that was one of the more powerful parts of the movie in a way.
I just felt like it was so disconnected from what we had seen in previous Halloween movies. I mean, this is one dude against 8 firefighters that all have pickaxes.
Are you referring to the fact that Michael became Steven Seagal all of a sudden?
Dude, are you kidding me?
I was waiting for him to do some kind of like cartwheelie back kick Van Damme shit.
For me right there, that takes me out of it.
Yeah.
And now I'm skeptical of everything else that I see.
Yeah. Understood.
But
all right, enough Halloween.
Halloween, go see it. It's a great film.
It's so fucking good. And honestly, support horror movies anyway. Even, it's not dumb to say, but like, even support ones that aren't great. Support horror movies,
No, you
otherwise
have to.
they,
And I don't mean to sound like an elitist or anything. Like I only reserve my
we all
time.
have opinions, you know what I mean?
No, for sure, but I don't reserve my time only for the Silence of the Lambs films that are out there. You have to support everything because otherwise the other movies aren't going to get made.
100%.
You have to, be tactful about it and try to find a happy medium so that you give something to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tricky dance, I've come to find out.
Is your wife into horror movies?
She is.
That's great.
Yeah.
My wife is not.
It would not work otherwise.
See, I've been married for 10 years, and she's not into horror, but we find a way to make it work.
Really?
Like, to me,
Is that you watching the movie and her with a blanket over her head? Or?
no, she doesn't get scared.
Oh, okay.
She's like,
Oh,
she's
so she
too,
thinks
she's
it's
tough.
goofy?
Yeah, dude. I in my favorite horror movie of all time, and probably my top 3 movies of all time, is The Exorcist. That's my number 1 horror movie.
Okay.
And it still freaks me out to this day. And I'm not someone, I don't really get scared by
Were you raised
stuff.
Catholic?
No, I mean, technically, yes. Irish Catholic family from Boston.
Okay.
But I never believed.
Okay.
But like that movie, I saw it when I don't know, maybe, probably around the same time I saw Texas Chainsaw, 12, 13. And it scared the fucking shit out of me because it feels real. It's not hokey.
Yeah.
And
it's not even like a horror movie. It's almost like a drama film.
I mean, it won Best Picture.
Horror elements.
Yeah, that doesn't happen unless it has to be different than a horror. It has to be a lot of drama.
Yeah.
It's a family drama. It's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's freaked me out forever. I asked my wife for years to watch it. And she's like, no, I don't like those movies. They freak me out.
For your birthday, I want you to watch this movie with me.
It was kind of one of those where like, if you do this, I'll do something for you or whatever. We're going to trade somehow. And we're watching it, and when we watch a movie, she pays attention. She gets into the zone, but she was like chuckling, and I was getting pissed off. I'm like, why are you laughing? She goes,
what part?
She laughed at the "Let Jesus fuck you" part.
Oh, okay.
The crucifix.
Yeah.
She laughed at whenever the voice would change, into the scary voice.
Yeah, the Pazuzu.
Yeah, exactly.
She didn't giggle when she peed on the carpet?
No, I don't think so. my wife pees on the carpet all the time, so she probably related to that part of it.
Identifies with that.
Yeah. But I was getting annoyed. I'm like, how can you? She goes, this is just so ridiculous. I'm like, yeah, but the visuals, you can't. And she just didn't. She thought it was silly.
Interesting.
But she loved The Shining, so I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Who knows?
That's a weird.
I'm trying to break her down to be more into them and understand that like it's not just all brutal blood, murder, like women being attacked. There's some great stories in horror that are being told all the time.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, I know the one thing that hooks me is atmosphere, mood, and psychological elements. I think that's more terrifying than seeing Kevin Bacon get an arrow through his neck. I mean,
100%. Yep.
On-screen gore is cool and all. It has its place, but I think the thing that's truly terrifying and taps into the human experience is that fear of the unknown. And I think you create that with, atmosphere, mood, framing, composition.
Every horror movie to me that I love has to have it. I call it the "This is God" moment. The Freddy reveal, the "This is God."
Yeah.
There has to be one still image from the film that sticks with me forever. It's the chainsaw door. It's the sliding the door. It's the Freddy glove. Yep.
Yeah.
Exorcist. It's the backlit shadow of her on the bed. Stretching when she gets free.
Yeah, with the statue.
And
in the background.
I gotta have that kind of stuff. And I always call it the "This is God" moment.
That's good. That's a good way to characterize that because
I need it.
No, it's true. I mean, I feel like if you get good special effects and gore, that should be the icing on the cake.
Yep.
That shouldn't be the nexus of the film.
The driving point.
Yeah, it shouldn't be the driving point of the film. It should be the extra. It should be the cherry on top.
Mm-hmm. So what was your first piece of memorabilia from the film?
From the film?
From the actual film.
From the actual film was Jim Seadow's shooting script.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And how did that get into your hands?
I had to tap into my amateur.
Jim Seadow, who played the cook.
Right. Yeah. Jim Seadow,
the father figure,
plays the cook. I put on my detective hat and I had to refine my amateur detective skills to track down and communicate and be patient and communicate and be patient.
Yeah, it's a slow play for a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, you have to be really careful, especially when you're dealing with family members, especially family members who have passed.
Right.
Because at this point in time, Jim had passed almost 10 years. Mm-hmm. And you never know how anybody's going to take you cold calling them.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
Coming out of the blue, some knucklehead out of the woodwork is knocking on my door wanting to buy my dead dad's stuff. Mm-hmm. Get the fuck out of here, man. Right. I don't know you.
And there's multiple factors where maybe they want to keep it, maybe they're weary, or maybe they just don't want to dig through a box. That's a lot of it sometimes. People don't want to put the work in to find something.
There is a lot of that involved. And I happen to get lucky. I like to think that I have a way with people. I know how to talk to people because I know how I would want people to talk to me. So I try to present myself as articulate and thoughtful as I possibly can. By no means do I use kid gloves, but I am sensitive to the situation. You know, I put myself in their shoes. Like if somebody came at me wanting to know about something, how would I approach myself? And so far it's worked out.
So when you make the call, how does it start?
It's not a call. Everything's digital. Everything's email. This one in particular, I think it was through Messenger.
Okay.
And it was a back and forth for a long time. I explained who I was. I explained what I was interested in doing. Because at this point I had built up a collection of other memorabilia, but this was the first thing that was actually tied directly to the film, right? So I had lobby cards, I had autographed photos, I had pretty substantial amount of stuff. Not as much as I have now because it's still in the early days, but I had enough to be able to say, hey, I'm trying to grow my collection. You know, I would love to add this to my collection because my driving force is the preservation of the history connected with the film. It's not,
and that's why I've always actually appreciated what you're doing, is because you're not this guy that just hoards it to look at it himself.
Right.
Like that's why when you have those the showings, you're sharing it with people, which is what should happen. Like let people you love it, let other people love the stuff as well, which is also why I was so happy to give you the door, because it sits in my office. I appreciate it, but I want other people to look at it and be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Not like, I don't want to feel cool that I have it. I want people to be like, I can't believe I'm looking at the actual thing.
No,
that's
for sure,
the fun.
For sure. There are a lot of collectors that I've met. For them, it's about who has the most toys. And I'm taking my ball and I'm going home.
Right.
And I think whatever blows your hair back. To each their own, I guess. But I think in the bigger sense of it, I mean, I know if I'm excited about it, there's got to be other people out there like me who would want to see and appreciate or learn about it that maybe they don't even know that this exists. Mm-hmm. Right. So be able to bring it to the light of day and be like, hey, not look what I found, but hey, look at this. This is a piece of history. I mean, Texas Chainsaws is as American as apple pie. So,
yes,
you know, to be able to find that stuff and to be able to share it with people the same way that I feel like, you know, when I dress up as Leatherface, I can share that experience and give that to people. I try to give back to the community in that way, because if there was somebody doing what I did and I wasn't me, I'd want to see it.
Yeah.
I'd want to know.
Yeah.
I would go to that exhibit.
Mm-hmm.
I'd pay $5. I'd pay $10. Mm-hmm. I'd buy the t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can do that for other people, then I do. And I try to do it as much as I can. So I explain that to people when I'm talking to them about, you know, if there's an item that I'm trying to acquire, buy, trade, sell, this is the purpose. This isn't about, I have all the stuff.
Right.
I have more stuff than you.
Right.
Because I know people like that.
Of course.
Those people are fucking dicks.
I collect game used baseball bats, and I know so many of those guys that just they just want to have everything and show it to nobody.
Yeah.
You know?
What good is it? I mean, like whatever blows your skirt up, I guess.
Right.
So yeah, the script was the first thing that I got from the film, tied directly to the film. It was his original shooting script with yellow revision pages, red pencil notations next to his lines as the cook. And then I was also fortunate enough, along with the script, I was gifted an 8x10 photo that Jim Seedow used to practice his signature. So it's this 8x10 photo of Jim Seedow with his beard from his theater days that's scribbled with all different color and sizes of markers that he used to practice, on top of which, at some point, his wife decided she wanted to get in on it. So there's a couple signatures for Ruth Seedow on there as well. So, you know, the tagline is from part 3 is the Saw is family. Yeah. We try not to promote that because it's not from the original film, but I mean, it's
weirdly it's very rare that something from a sequel becomes like the rally cry from the fan base, but the Saw is family definitely does that, doesn't it?
It does, and it's funny, at least in my experience, I found it to be very true.
Yeah.
More often than not.
Yep.
So I get to know these people. They get to know me. Sometimes we carry on. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes it's the end of it. But there's definitely a sense of what I'm doing and what they're doing with or for me is the right thing to do.
And I imagine the more you do it, the more you display, the more people you talk to, then others who may be holding stuff will see what you're doing and be like, I like this guy's style. Here's this stuff.
It's very true. It creates a type of magnetism. Where things are now drawn to me. I've been fortunate enough to where I've had things kind of not handed to me, but put in my lap, where otherwise, if that was something that I had to find on my own, I'd have to, you know, put that detective hat on and go track it down, which in some cases I probably wouldn't even bother with. So yeah, it's been pretty exciting. You learn a lot along the way. You learn about Texas Chainsaw. You learn about the people involved with it. There's just so many facets to the whole situation. I don't even know what to call it.
It's a lore.
And
it gets
but also to my life, because now it's so wrapped up into, you know, who I am as a person and what I do now. It's like, how do I separate the two?
Right.
What are you doing on the weekends? Texas Chainsaw?
Yeah.
What are you doing for work?
That's
Same shit.
Has doing it for work changed your love for it at all?
No, in fact, it's enhanced it. I thought it for a split second, and this is for a split second. I thought, do I want to see behind the curtain?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, I want to see behind the curtain. Yeah. This isn't like going to work at Disneyland where you see the inner workings of the Haunted Mansion with the lights on. I've seen the lights on in the Texas Chainsaw Maze at Universal, and I want to go back as much now as I ever did.
Right.
To see the inner workings, to get to know these people on a professional level outside of just being a fan is something that's very special. And like, I wouldn't trade any of it for the world. I don't even work. I got responsibilities, but I don't work.
It's pretty great, huh?
I mean,
so what is your day-to-day like for the new position that you have there?
Oh, it varies. It kind of depends what's going on in the Texas Chainsaw world, what project is on my plate at the time. Everything is more or less, well, how do I characterize it? Pretty easygoing. I feel like I have the experience in the background so that I'm well equipped to do all the different jobs that I need to do. Some more than others. Some things I'm still learning. Some things I have dead bang. So it's more just about time management, which I have a pretty good grasp of. A lot of things are priority based on release dates and things of that nature, and trying to lay the foundation for that. So, you know, one day I try to split my week up into days. One day I'll work on doing infringements and piracy takedowns, taking down counterfeiters.
That's one I want to ask you about as well.
Oh yeah.
What's that like?
It's interesting. It's a never ending battle of whack-a-mole. It's, you know, Texas Chainsaw has been around for 45 plus years. Only recently has anybody really taken singular ownership of it. And as a result, counterfeiters have just run wild.
Yeah.
And so overseas, domestically, it's a never ending battle. We've recently been engaged with a company that helps us kind of pinpoint repeat offenders, and they have a proprietary AI that crawls the web and sends us the results.
You can't get away with shit anymore.
No, but also, I mean, it's like a dream for that type of job, because otherwise we're out there pounding the pavement, and there's only so many hours in the day, so you can only get so much done in an 8-hour day. So.
Right.
So one day I'll do, you know, counterfeit infringement. Another day I will do web development. Another day I'll try to focus on social media, managing our Facebook and our Instagram and our Twitter. You know, another day I'm trying to think of what's next. I'm always looking at the horizon, looking into my crystal ball to see, you know, as a fan, what would I like to see and what do I think other people would like to see? And that doesn't always translate necessarily to what is established in the space, which is something that I think is interesting, especially for the fans who think that it's all about heavy metal, punk rock, horror, blood, guts, and gore. There's other marketplaces that we haven't entered into yet where I think people would be interested in what we have to offer. So
what do you got coming?
Right now we have a collab that just launched with a brand called Superficial out of LA.
Dude, that jumpsuit.
The tracksuit's pretty dope, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they came out. They came out with some fire. Superficial in LA off of Melrose. We did an official collab with them that just dropped last week, and you know, that's a space that normally we wouldn't get into because we just don't have the footprint there. But because they do, it makes sense for us to try to reach that marketplace through them. And they're excited about it. We're excited about it. They came out with some really good stuff, but again, it's streetwear, right? So it's not something that you would maybe associate with Texas Chainsaw, which I find is difficult for people who are hardcore fans of the brand to swallow. But I think it's important that they also remember that we still have stuff for them. Right.
I think that those people, I think it might be, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like they feel like you're not taking it seriously or making it fun or hokey, but like horror it's fun. It's supposed to be fun. And seeing, like, of course, I mean, a full-size shirt, Leatherface on it, is awesome. but also some fun stuff is cool too. It's okay to let it grow a
exactly.
bit.
It doesn't cheapen and it doesn't dilute what is already existing or what's yet to come.
Mm-hmm.
It's just another branch on the tree.
Now, is it true that you guys are getting into the NFT world?
Yes, it is. We just actually announced yesterday.
That is exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's really exciting. It's the Wild West. And again, I think there's a lot of education involved in that. Because
For everybody. I mean, it's so
everybody.
new.
Yeah,
We're learning now. Like,
we have a great team that's helped us put this together, and bring it to the people as more than just, a lot of times you think NFT, you think cash grab, ethereal type collectible that exists in the cyberspace of gray matter, right?
yeah, sure.
Nothing's tangible, nothing's grounded in having a physical collectible. So I think for a lot of people, it's hard for them to wrap their heads around it. I know it was hard for me to wrap my head around it because I'm a physical collector. If I can't, display it in my IKEA Deltoff cases,
Yeah.
what do I want with it?
Yeah, I don't totally understand what NFTs are, but I'm stoked that they're happening.
So
you know what I mean?
what
I get it, but it's like, how do you display it? How do you show people? And I'm sure all that stuff is going to grow as time does.
Yeah, definitely. And it's hard for me to even articulate exactly, what the NFT is, because what we're doing is we're creating the NFT as more of an entry point to a larger community, so that people who purchase in with the NFT, it's almost like their membership card.
Right.
Right. So they're part of something bigger. They're not just investing in, a speculative market where maybe they'll be able to flip it for a few bucks. Maybe they'll lose. It's more than that, right?
Do you know yet what kind of stuff you're going to be offering for NFTs? On obviously that's going to be an ongoing, growing thing.
Yeah. Right now I would just say go to leatherfaces.io.
Leatherfaces.io.
That has our roadmap. That has everything that we have to offer, including the NFTs and all the perks and the experiences that are going to be associated with the ownership of that NFT.
Okay.
I think that would explain it better than I could.
One thing I like about NFTs is you can always trace ownership back to the original person.
Right.
And when it transfers hands, there's books kept on every single piece that's sold, right?
Yeah.
So you know what it sells for, who bought it, the lineage of everything. So there's no faking shit. There's no nothing.
No, there's a paper trail for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. So pretty exciting stuff. If you're interested in checking it out, like I said, go to leatherfaces.io. There's links on our social medias to get you there, and also to the Discord.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
And you guys actually have a decent website too. The Texas Chain Saw Massacre.com.
Oh yeah. The official Texas Chain Saw Massacre.com
Yep.
That's our main website that has a little bit of history about the film, the filmmakers, the players in the film.
Some amazing pictures I had not seen before, like behind the scenes.
Yeah, some
set
of the archival
pictures.
stuff in there is very interesting.
Incredible stuff. My favorite one is is it Dottie who's like helping him with the mask in front of the house with the foggy.
Oh right, that's where she's applying Ed's makeup.
So incredible. And you can also get the merch there. You guys are doing really, really great merch.
Yeah, we got an online store. We got a lot of stuff that just came out. We relaunched earlier this month with some new t-shirts and some new offerings, and we're going to have stuff rolling out through the rest of the month and the rest of the year, actually.
You're doing it right as far as merch goes, and I'm so particular on t-shirts and designs, and horror stuff can so easily be done poorly, I think.
Yeah.
But you're overseeing all that stuff, and you're doing a lot of it yourself.
Yep.
So it's coming from an actual fan's mind and someone who loves it and cares about it.
Yeah.
And it shows.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I try to think, like I said, would I wear this?
Mm-hmm.
Would I spend $30 on this?
Yep.
If I wouldn't, then I go back to the drawing board and I think, okay, maybe it's we got to tweak something, or maybe we got to do something different.
Yep. Yeah.
I think that's what maybe a lot of people don't realize about some of these properties is that a lot of them, they just kind of get with their distributor and their manufacturer and they say, make cool shit.
Shit them out. Just whatever.
Just do whatever, right? You got imagery that's iconic for the last 40 years, slap it on a shirt, slap it on a hat.
Right.
It's cool. It's not bad.
It's fine.
It's fine, but
don't just take a still shot from the film and put on a shirt and sell it to me for $40.
You know, one of the best pieces of advice that I ever got that I carry over to many facets of my life is from my tattoo artist. I would bring him a design and I'd be like, hey, let's do this. And he'd look at it and he'd be like, yeah, that's cool, but could it be better?
Yep.
It's cool, but let's do better. What can we do that's better?
Right.
Right. That doesn't mean we have to push the envelope and be shocking we can, but that's not that's not our MO.
Right.
The MO is like, let's do it the best that we can so that the people who are fans of this are going to dig it. And maybe the people who are just being introduced will find something new.
Don't ever shoot for this'll do.
No, never.
You know, what's the point? Why do that?
No, that's a lazy.
What in your collection, do you have a favorite piece of memorabilia?
It's like asking me.
Or give me like 3.
It's like asking me who's my favorite kid.
I know.
That's tough.
But listen, everyone has a favorite kid.
No, for sure. Thank God I was the favorite kid in my
There
family.
you go.
Favorite top 3?
Yeah.
Obviously the grandpa makeup molds.
Yeah. The originals, right? The originals?
Yeah, the original castings and molds used to create the makeup for John Dugan for the role of grandpa. I acquired those from...
Who was 18 years old playing a 90-year-old man or whatever it was.
20, I think.
Yes, such a young man.
Yeah,
playing movie magic.
I acquired those from the estate of the late Dr. William Earl Barnes, who was a plastic surgeon.
Did he do the teeth molds and everything too?
Yeah, he did everything. Okay. He was friends with Marilyn Burns. She actually got him the gig. And
awesome.
He had never done special effects makeup before, and he used dental acrylic and put this stuff together, made the prosthetics,
and he was smart enough to keep it.
He was smart enough to keep it. Yeah, incredibly. And that was another one too. Like the script. I mean, that one was actually really far out because, you got Dan Cleary at Yahoo, Dan Cleary at AOL, Dan Cleary at... Right. I just started machine gunning emails out there.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they were going to land.
In one hit.
And one hit. And one
Son
came
of a
back.
Bitch.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a pretty long story. It's a combination of Facebook and emails, but I was able to get in touch. And his sister had everything in a box in the garage. And years before, too, he had them up there was a listing on eBay. He was trying to sell them on eBay and nobody bit.
Nobody took it.
Nobody took it.
Insane.
He was asking 10, I think.
Okay.
For everything. Which,
okay.
I mean, it's not astronomical, but...
And that's also just an asking price. It probably could have gone for less, too.
It's a healthy chunk,
yeah,
no matter
sure.
how you slice it.
Sure.
Especially for what it is.
Sure.
What are you going to do with it? That's an investment piece.
Right.
Nobody bought, so it went in a box, acid-free box, and sat in the garage until I got a hold of them. And man, that was a funny story. My car didn't work very well at the time, and they were coming from New Mexico on a trip through California, and they were going to be in San Diego. They're like, "Cool, we'll bring it to San Diego. We'll meet up at the hotel and have lunch." I was like, "Cool, let's do it." I got to go rent a car to make it to San Diego because my car's not going to make it. So we went down there and had lunch, and I got to know him, and that was a good one. So the grandpa stuff is very, very special. That's one of a kind, and that is the most directly tied to the film.
Amazing.
Of anything.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That was on display at the thing I was at, and it was definitely, that brought people in.
Yeah.
People were transfixed by that.
Yeah. And there's some other interesting stuff that came with that too. There was a foam appliance that they used, I'm guessing, as a test piece to see if a foam would mimic, somebody's skinned face. But because the foam is thick, obviously it
didn't work.
But just to have some of that stuff that, nobody knew even existed from the production of the film was really special.
And those first masks were made of like insulation and shit, wasn't they?
Yeah, fiberglass and latex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfectly done, and you could see through it. It was so well done. Do you have a favorite of the 3 masks?
Ooh, I like them all for different reasons.
Of course, that's why it's a tough question.
Pretty Woman, I think, is the most disturbing.
It's fucked up.
That thing's fucked up.
Yeah,
dude. That is
lipstick.
That is somebody else's face being worn by a giant baby Huey that doesn't know who or what he is, or even how to talk. Getting dressed up for dinner, wearing women's makeup on a woman's face. That's fucking far out.
And if you guys don't realize
that's
this,
so demented.
If you guys don't pick up on it in the initial watching of the movie, Leatherface, you obviously never see his face. He wears a different face depending on the mood he's in or the role he's trying to play.
Or vice versa.
Right.
So the face that he wears informs.
becomes him.
He becomes the face that he wears, right? So when he's in butcher mode and he's doing chores around the house, he wears the killing mask.
Yep.
Which is the one that we first see when he bashes Kirk in the head, when he's freaking out, when everybody's infiltrating his home.
Yep.
When he's preparing dinner and being domestic, he wears the grandma with the grandma's apron.
Which you barely see in the movie.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because the thing is just so disturbing. I mean,
it's so overlooked. It's overlooked by everybody.
Yeah. And I mean, there's so much story to these masks too that because the content itself is so overwhelming, you have to watch it more than once to be able to pick up on the fact that if you look at the grandma mask, she's got a giant hole in the top of her head from where she got bashed with the sledgehammer.
I don't have the mask here, but all the masks, well, the killing mask, you can also see, the pretty woman, you can see the hammer marks.
On the eye.
Scars. And and on there's a forehead one somewhere. Mm-hmm. But you can read them like a map. You don't pick up on it, but it's all there.
It tells a story in and of itself, which, I mean, that's masterful movie making right there, right? That's Bob Burns, the deranged maniac who.
And each mask in the film was cast on someone in the crew, right? Is that true?
That's the
story.
That's the consensus.
Okay.
There's no definitive answer on whose face is what. People have speculated, but there's no concrete evidence or proof that we have of who is who. The only one that I know for sure that was based on somebody is at the dinner scene, the hanging lamp that has somebody's faces on it. Those were Ron Bozeman's faces.
Oh, no kidding.
Ron Bozeman was the production manager who would later go on to win the Academy Award for Silence of the Lambs.
Right.
Those are his faces.
That's amazing. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
Yeah. The other ones, one of them says that it was Jay Parsley, one of the original investors in the film. But nobody really knows. We've gotten close, but I mean, nobody's confirmed without a doubt.
And as far as I know, I think the grandma mask, the old lady mask, burned up in a fire. Or is that true?
No, they all exist somewhere.
I thought one of them got burned up.
I haven't heard that.
I know you and I know where one of the masks are.
Yeah.
And we're going to work on that.
Yeah. I know where the Pretty Woman's at.
You do? Where's that one at?
Pretty Woman's in England.
In a private collection?
In a private collection.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to say any more about that.
Yep.
And then the grandma, I don't know.
I thought the grandma one is the one that was in a fire. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought I heard that one burned up.
It could be. I haven't heard that. I'd like to find out more about.
We'll have to hit the streets and figure it out.
Yeah, I'd like to talk more about that.
You have a package over there.
I do.
What's over there? What do you got?
Wait. Let's get to the other.
Oh, yes.
I got a couple
please.
other. I just got to throw these out there because I feel like I didn't finish the melody if I don't answer the rest of the question.
Of course. Yeah.
I do have a very rare Danish poster that's signed by everybody. That's a one of a kind. That's very, very special because of the way that it was acquired.
Okay.
Because it came from a friend of mine via his nephew after he had passed away.
Okay.
So I just wanted to touch on that because that.
Please.
Well, just it's those are the things that are meaningful for me. I've known a lot of people in this hobby for a long time, and people pass away, and I don't ever want to see their items thrown in the dumpster or lost to time or ruined.
How often does it happen where parents or family doesn't realize what they're holding and it just gets thrown away?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know because I don't talk to those people. The people that I talk to, I save as much as I can, and I give it a good home. Yep. Not because I'm a vulture circling the carcass, but because I'm afraid of what's going to happen to some of these things, and because I know what they meant to the people who owned them when they were alive.
You're the caretaker.
I try to be. I try to be the steward. I mean, I could hitch a U-Haul to the back of my hearse, but that shit ain't going with me. It's not going with any of us. So to rehome it and make sure that it has a life outside of ours so that other people can appreciate it is a very important thing, I think.
You said the Danish poster is a one of one.
Well, it's a one of one in the sense that I've never seen another one in existence. This is the only one that I've ever seen. It's signed by everybody. Gunnar Hansen signed it, and he wrote something in his native Icelandic.
Oh, that's right. Of course. Yeah. Yep.
And to get a poster or any item signed by the full cast is a rare thing. This poster in and of itself, because it's so rare, and then because of who it's signed by. I mean, it's signed by Bob Burns, and I'd have to look. But
and half the cast has passed away at this point,
yeah,
for the most part. So obviously, nothing new will ever be signed by the whole cast.
No.
You know, unless they have all the old people on it, and then the newer ones get it. But pretty much that's all done.
No, and sometimes that's how it goes. Sometimes, I get lucky enough and I'll find something that has those signatures on it and I'm able to complete the piece.
Great.
And that's what I try to do. Is because like I said, I'm not going to take it with me.
Yep.
I'm going to hold on to it for now. And eventually, somebody somewhere is going to get it.
Yep. That was my next question. Do you know if you were gone tomorrow, where would your collection go?
Oh man, my wife would kill me. She'd be so pissed. She wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that because we watch a lot of American Pickers, and I don't know if you guys watch that show.
Oh, I've seen it, of course.
So a lot of times these are estates from people that have passed on, and they leave these barns and these properties and these acres to their relatives that have no idea what to do with anything. So, thankfully for the American Pickers, they play fair and they come in and they give them the right dollar amount. But if you don't know what to do with it, you're fucked, man.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Especially this Texas chainsaw shit. Like some of this stuff is so rare. Like I should put together something so that she knows what to do in case.
Might be smart.
I mean,
Just
if I get hit
list.
by a truck on the way home, she'll have a lot of money, but she'll be fucking bummed because there's a lot of shit to go through.
Right.
But also to make
Drive
sure
safe.
that she doesn't get ripped too.
Of course.
Like
that's the thing.
Something you might look at and you'd be like, oh yeah, that's $100. Be like, dude, that's fucking like $500.
Like there was a sale, what was it, last year, where a bunch of like Polaroids and stuff was sold, right? A bunch of photographs, like set photographs.
Oh yeah, the contact sheets.
Yeah.
Yeah, through Heritage.
And that's stuff that like if someone found that in a box in a garage, they'd be like, this is garbage. But it's pieces of film history and people may not know that.
Yeah. I have some slides like that I got from
Yep.
Ed Neal that are people have never seen before besides me and Ed and the person who took the photo. And if you didn't know anything, you'd just be like, trash.
Right.
What is this?
Right.
Yeah, you'd never know.
Yep.
So yeah, I did bring some stuff. Do you want to see what we
Yes,
got over
please.
here?
Yes, please.
This is pretty
I
fun.
love this stuff.
So, let's save that one for the end.
Okay.
There's some other stuff in here that I think you'll enjoy. This is zine. You guys remember zines?
Of course. Whoa. 1993.
1993 Gasp magazine with interviews with Gunnar Hansen and Sepultura.
I mean, when you think of one, you think of the other. You know?
Right. Peanut butter and jelly. Super random.
I miss this stuff. This is so like growing up in Boston, the hardcore bands would have these little like the Pit Report, it was called in Boston. Like you get these little things.
I have so many weird off the wall publications that have just something to do with Texas Chainsaw. I even got nudie mags from the 70s that have like a little column.
Yep.
Because it was shocking, right?
Yep.
It came around the same time as Deep Throat. Because it was
a lot of people think of these old movies as pornographic, as X-rated films.
Oh yeah, because the whole
The violence.
Video, but the video nasties craze in the early 80s, and they just associate it with 44th Street in New York.
Wow, this is cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I got a weird vibe off of that one. So I got in touch with the guy who was the creator of the magazine, and I asked him because I bought one off him that was signed by Gunnar, and I said,
That's
"Do you have any
pretty
more?" He's like, "Yeah, I got like 10 more."
Amazing.
I was like, "Cool, I'll take them."
That's amazing.
So enjoy.
Oh, that's for me?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, thank you.
This is all for you.
Holy shit.
No. If I'm bringing stuff to.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll read this tonight. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Oh, you see R.J. Mihailoff in there, and who played the second one? Bill.
That's a controversial topic. Bill Johnson or Bob Elmore?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
So who do you think? Majority of the film.
Bob Elmore.
Interesting. Yep.
He's the guy who could lift the chainsaw that didn't get hurt and did the stunts. But some of the close-up shots were Bill Johnson. In their own right, they both have a claim to it. I'm not going to say.
Does he go to conventions and
They
do
both do.
things? They do.
Yeah, they both do.
That's
And they're
great.
both super, super nice. Bob's in Riverside somewhere, and Bill, I think, is in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
I met Gunnar as a little kid, and that was great.
Oh,
There's
did you?
there's a haunted thing called Spooky World that ended up being
yeah.
condemned in Massachusetts. And I met him. I met Kane Hodder. But I remember I met Gunnar, and I was probably 8 or 9. I don't think I'd seen the movie yet, but I knew who he was. And to me, he was so enormous. But I
He's a
remember
big
as a
dude.
kid how kind he was.
I am
So fucking kind.
I didn't know him as well as some other people, but the time that I did get to spend with him was very special. I just, on that note,
He's passed away, of course. If people know, he's passed away.
He passed away in 2002, which is another fucking weird ass story. Fuck, I got a lot of stories.
We got time. Yeah.
So the time that I spent with Gunnar was very special. when I met him at Monster Palooza in 2014 in Burbank. He was there. Dan Yeager was there. Terry McMahon, Bill Vale, and Ed Neal.
It's a hell of a lineup.
It's a hell of a lineup. Yeah. And to have them all here in Southern California all together was very exciting. So I put on my best Leatherface suit and I went down there and I brought a couple things for everybody to sign. My chainsaw, a Polaroid land camera for Ed, took pictures and, just in passing. And I said this to everybody after they signed my stuff. I said to Gunner, when you're done with the show, if you don't have anything else going on, I'm going to be at the hotel bar. Stop by. I'll buy you a beer. Thanks for everything. Carry on with your day. I told it to everybody else who was there. So after the show, we go to the bar, having a drink with my wife, having a beer, and I feel somebody come up behind me and tap me on the shoulder. And I turn around and Gunnar Hansen's standing there with a $10 bill, and he goes, "Hey man, are you ready to do this?" And I said, "Your money's no good here. Put that away. This is on me." And he sat down and we talked for at least an hour.
Oh my God, man.
Like old war buddies.
Yep.
And I wished for the life of me, I was so in the moment. I didn't really absorb everything that we talked about.
Of course. You're floating. You're out of your body.
Plus his manager was there at the time kind of trying to hang on to, what's this guy doing with my meal ticket, right?
Right,
Get the fuck out of here, dude. I'm chatting with my homie.
Beat it, suit.
Yeah, fucking beat it, kook. And we were talking about something, I forget, I'm a fan of the film. And I asked him something. I don't know what it was, but I remember his response. My wife remembered his response was like, "Wow, nobody's ever asked me that before." And he was really impressed by that. And that really stuck with me. And
do you remember the question?
I don't.
Okay.
I wish I did. It transcends time and space. It was so fucking good. But it was just one of those moments where I was like, wow, I didn't really expect this guy to take me up. Like, this is my horror movie hero. And here we are. We're just shooting the shit like you and me are. Like, what the fuck?
Yep.
And then, okay, so if that wasn't enough, after we got done with that, he had dinner plans. So he split. Dan Yeager comes into the lobby with his wife, and he looks at me, and he holds up a fucking bottle of Jameson. And he's like, "Dude, what's up?" I'm like, "Fuck it, let's go." So we went out onto the patio. Dan Yeager's a big guy.
Big boy.
He's a big dude, right?
Like, Gunner was big, but Dan is definitely bigger, dude.
He's got some inches, and he's got some reach on Gunner.
Yep.
And we went into the courtyard at the Burbank Marriott over there. We fucking drank whiskey till like midnight. I want to say I kept up.
I doubt it.
I didn't fall. Hey,
maybe you did.
I didn't fall over, and I didn't gush.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the two big takeaways. And I made a pretty good friend. We kept in contact for a while after that. He came over to my house, came over to the Halloween party, which was really cool. I didn't expect him to do that. The most down to earth guy I ever met. So
you and I talked a little bit before we got started here about a couple things, but I mentioned that, in my opinion, Dan was probably maybe the second best Leatherface, definitely the best to mimic what Gunner did.
For sure.
And he was in, Texas Chainsaw 3D, which is parts you like. Obviously, there's massive timeline issues with what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, there's issues with that.
There's issues, but there was takeaways that were good, and he was without a doubt like the shining spot of the film.
He definitely brought some levity to that film in a way that hadn't been done in the previous sequels in part 2 or part 3 or the Next Generation.
Or the remakes where he was just like a Terminator style killing machine, which again, it's cool. I actually liked both the remake and the beginning. I liked them.
I like the remake.
Different take.
Yeah,
they platinum dunes it up.
The remake's a whole nother show.
But he wasn't the scared protector in that movie.
Right.
That he was in
or the intellectually disabled adult killer.
He was fully aware of what he was doing in this one.
Yeah. He pulled it off in a way that I had never seen it. I always said, if cast that guy again.
Completely, and I don't know why studios refuse. Maybe there's rights issues. I don't know, but it seems like when a movie doesn't do well, they don't want to roll the dice with the same guy again, even though he may have not been the problem.
Yeah, no, he was actually one of the shining lights of that movie.
Yep.
So that was
drunk with two Leatherfaces in one night.
Yeah, I got drunk with two Leatherfaces in one night. Holy shit.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, no, we'll check that box.
Yeah, envious of that
so
one.
that was pretty cool. The down to earth character of both of them is what was most impressive to me.
Yep.
So Gunnar Hansen died. I hate to say that, it's so crass. Gunnar Hansen passed away.
He did both.
He did
technically,
both.
Yeah.
Gunnar Hansen left this realm 2015.
That's the day I went in and got this tattoo. The day he died, as a tribute to him.
So I was in. That's awesome, by the way. Super awesome.
Yep.
I was in Texas for work, for a training, week long, and I stayed the extra weekend because I was close enough. I was in San Antonio. I was close enough to where I could hit all the film locations. And I had never been before in 2015. So this is my first time to Texas. So I mapped my route. I had a friend out there who knew where all the locations were. And the plan was we'll meet up at the original house for the night. And then the next day we'll hit the Baghdad Cemetery, the gas station. What else is there? Baghdad Cemetery, gas station, the house. Fuck, I'm missing something. Maybe that was it.
I mean, the gas station is the barbecue place. What else is there?
And no, I think that's it.
Okay,
I think I'm thinking of the remix. Anyways, we meet at the house, and our plan is to go visit the other locations the next day. So I get there, I get in a little bit late, and my friend gets in late, and we're hanging out. I meet the people that own it for the first time. They're super nice. They help me do a photo shoot after hours, after everybody's left, in the house with full costume and everything. We rented a bungalow so that my buddy could stay and we don't have to sleep in the same bed. So, time for bed, had some drinks, and like 2:00 in the morning, he comes, burst into my room, and I go, "What's going on? What?" And he goes, "Dude, Gunnar Hansen just died." What the fuck?
And you were in Texas. You were on
I was at the house.
Yeah,
I was at the house. My first visit to the house in Texas, staying on the property the night that Gunnar Hansen passed away. It was bittersweet. It was surreal. It was super fucking weird. Because the next day I got up and everybody kind of already knew who I was at that point. And they were just consoling me like he was like a family member, even though he wasn't, but they knew like how special and what that meant to me. And
I mean, some things cosmically are just meant to be
aligned. Kismet, I don't know about all that shit, synchronicity or whatever, but it was too crazy.
I mean, at this point, I can't imagine you would want it any other way. I mean, that's pretty beautiful way to say goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, if you gotta hear the bad news, I guess that's the best way as any to hear it.
What are that was
my
astronomical chances
what
of
are
that
the fucking
happening.
Chances, right? I got a better chance of winning the lottery.
Yeah.
What the fuck? But
oh man.
Yeah, that was a mind melter for sure.
Yeah, obviously everyone is fans of some of people, and celebrities die all the time, and people you may have looked up at or looked up to. Gunnar was one that really bummed me out. Didn't know him at all. Met him one time when I was a kid, but for what he meant to who I became, as far as like just a respect factor of just being the perfect on-screen villain and seemingly a wonderful man, a great author. He lived in Maine, where I grew up. I used to go to Maine all the time, and so I liked everything about the guy.
Yeah, it's funny how people can influence your life that you have never met and have such an impact one way or the other just based on what they've done with their life.
Wow, that is a crazy story.
Yeah, it was crazy when it happened, and to tell it again really kind of takes me back. I haven't thought about that for a long time. That was fucking far out.
I mean, it's just a story that just no one else can tell that kind of story.
Yeah, no, that was a good one.
Wild.
Yeah, so on the Ed Gein note, and I'll show you pictures of me cradling her crucifix.
Yes, please.
A friend of mine started years and years ago the Ed Gein Fan Club.
Oh my God.
So
wow.
If you'd like to be a member, here's all.
Oh shit.
Here's all your accoutrements.
Oh hell, dude, yes.
You're now.
We got a button, we got a pin. We got an Ed Gein pin, which I'll show later. Oh dude. Man. I love it.
On theme, right?
I love it. Got a little patch here. By the way, that's a great vest. You got patches all over the place. That's some good shit. Oh my God, this is amazing. This is why? There's no point. This is great. When did this fan club start?
You know what? I don't know the actual year. I got in touch with him because I wanted one of the patches.
Yeah.
There's a friend of mine in Scotland who he collects Ed Gein memorabilia the same way that I collect Texas Chain Saw memorabilia.
Yep.
And he had one of those patches. And I asked him, I go, how do I get one? And he's like, dude, there's only, I don't know. There's a red one and there's a pink one, and I'm not giving them up. I said, well, where'd you get it from? And so he told me the guy's name, and I tracked him down, again, put on my detective hat, and I tracked him down, and the dude's like, yeah, I got all this stuff. He actually tried to get me to get the whole remainder of what he has for the fan club. So he has 100 more patches, 500 more cards. He's got the whole kit.
He's getting out of the game or what? Or
yeah, he's just kind of over it. He's got all the pins. He's like, here, I'll sell you the fan club. And I was like, well, I don't have that kind of money right now.
And that's a lot of work too.
Well,
Wouldn't it be?
I don't think it's something that's really active. I think
It's
it's just more for like people.
We have 12 members worldwide.
Well, it's like for people in the know,
Yeah,
right? Like
right.
if you know about what's going on, you know about serial killer, true crime memorabilia, shit like that.
Give them the nod.
You
like,
give them the nod, right? You
we're
got a secret handshake. You got the secret button.
Hell yeah.
You go into the secret room, have a secret drink.
A lot of secrets.
Yeah, a lot of it is super underground, and a lot of
course.
it. I'm not even going to name his name because he was actually. I'm actually thinking about buying it because the other two things that he has that I want to add to my collection because they're on theme are the final grave rubbing of Ed Gein's Tombstone, done in red and yellow, so it's got like a fire.
And they took his tombstone down. They moved it, or they got rid of it so people would stop going.
That's
there?
part.
Please.
That's part two.
Yeah.
So this is the final grave rubbing, and then a piece of the actual tombstone, which was in his possession for a period of time because he was the one who actually stole it from the Plainfield graveyard.
Good job, dude. It's pretty good.
It has since been returned. It now resides in the evidence room of the Plainfield Sheriff's Department.
It was returned, the police went and got it.
I think maybe there was a happy medium there somewhere. I don't know.
An understanding was in place.
Yeah, there was a handshake and a walk away.
Wow.
But he still has a piece of it.
Of course, that's great.
That has energy.
Does it? You can feel it.
I feel like it. I mean, I felt the crucifix.
Yep.
I feel anything that has that kind of weight in the world has some kind of residual energy to it.
And the fact that it was in Wisconsin is just. Have you been in Wisconsin?
I've never been.
Okay, it makes complete sense. And I like Wisconsin a lot, but like I can see how just like empty cornfields and like it makes complete sense.
I thought it would be cool. One, I'm a fan. I've always been a fan. You know, Ed Gein is endlessly fascinating to me because of how demented he was and what happened.
On a psychological aspect, he's riveting.
Oh yeah, just on another planet.
Yep.
Not even on Earth.
Yep.
So to add that to the Texas Chainsaw Museum, I feel is very appropriate.
Beautiful.
So.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, no, you're welcome.
That's
you're welcome.
cool as shit.
I got one more thing here for you, which is pretty exciting.
Okay.
This is
no fucking way, dude.
This is an original spindle. This is a spindle from the staircase banister from the original house before it was moved.
I have been looking for this for years for one of these. I can have this?
You can have that.
You're shitting me.
That's for you.
Dude.
I brought it for you.
Unbelievable. I seriously, like, of all the things that people collect, this is something I've wanted because the door, I love the door. I'm so stoked to have the door. But a piece of the house, because the house, like we're saying, is such a character in the film.
Yeah.
Look at that fucking thing. I don't know what to say. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're
That's
very welcome.
amazing.
I know you'll appreciate it, and it deserves to be with somebody who will enjoy it.
You know who's gonna love this? My wife. She's gonna be so stoked about. Oh, you got a broken piece of of stairs. Cool.
This is what I beat you with when you don't take the trash out.
Wow. Cool. So, how do these come into your possession?
Time for another story.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So
I really can't, dude. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
That is so fucking cool.
Absolutely. There's not many of them out there. There's very few. I again, amateur detective, got in touch with a fellow Texas chainsaw collector who helped me to build his primary collector thing was 3x5 index cards.
His focus.
Yep. Yeah. His jam was 3x5 index cards of celebrities. A lot of people do that, right? Take a pen with you and stack of 3x5 cards when you go to a show or whatever. Get people to sign your shit. So he helped me to build out my 3x5 card collection of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I have it's framed. It's got everybody on a 3x5 card. He was my go-to for that. Well, years ago, he said, I got a bunch of stuff from the house. He made a trip to the house before they moved it when it was still in Round Rock, Texas. Mm-hmm. And at that point it had been vandalized and, kicked in, windows broken. Nobody thought anything of it. The movie was forgotten. Fans of it would make the pilgrimage out there and maybe get
drunk or have a little party.
Go hang out and party or do whatever and collect some artifacts while you're there. Right. So he did. And he collected a lot of them. And he collected spindles, and he collected brown spindles, and he collected pink spindles. And
I saw some of your pink spindles. Is that from the kitchen?
No, those are from the upstairs railing.
Okay.
Yeah, those were funny story about those. Those pink spindles in the upstairs railing were painted pink because the family living there had kids, and the kids were scared to go upstairs because the house was an old dark farmhouse. Uh-huh. So they thought if they painted it pink, it would make it less scary.
Beautiful.
So yeah, pink spindles, white spindles. Years I asked this guy, sell me a spindle.
Yeah.
Let me get one of those.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. He's like,
Don't bogart the spindles, man.
I'm not ready. They're buried. I don't know how to get to them. I'm busy. I can't. So annually, I just send up the bat signal and be like, hey, let me get a spindle.
And as collectors, if you guys don't collect who are listening, you really have to. Everyone's different. Some people work better with hounding them. Some people, if you ask them one too many times, they'll never speak to you again. It's you have to have a sense of the person you're talking to.
No, absolutely.
Yep.
You have to have.
It's a game. I mean,
it's have people skills, and or if you try to buy too much too fast.
Yep.
I've had people try to be like, everything's for sale. Okay, I'll give you a couple $high items off the top, and you keep begging me. I'll shut down. Right. Because you're going too hard.
Or if you're too eager, they're like, wait a minute, am I selling too cheap?
Right.
Like,
right.
What am I missing in this collection?
If you show all your cards and the price goes up 20, 50%.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So you got to play it cool, not because you want to get away with anything, but because you want to make it work.
Yeah, of
and
course.
You want everybody to be comfortable with it. That's always been my thing.
Win-win is the best case scenario.
Whatever you're comfortable with, right? If you can't part with it in good conscience, I don't want it.
Right.
If you can, let's talk about it.
You have my number. If you change your mind, you know where I'm at.
Totally. I'm not going to harangue you about it. So I want to say maybe like 10 years.
Uh-huh. You worked them for 10 years.
Yeah, I want to say 10 years, probably close to 10 years. And then finally, late last year, he was like, "Hey, I think I'm ready." So I started scooping them up.
Wow. How many do you think? You don't have to say, but did you get a good amount of them?
I have a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I have in various stages of good condition, bad condition. I have a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And is your plan, are you planning to keep them for now, or give them to podcast hosts that are friends of yours?
I have, so because he has so many, and I know how valuable and rare they are, I have flipped a couple so that I can continue that relationship.
Of course,
and
it's part of it.
Keep buying them.
Yep.
And he's aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not flipping them for crazy profit.
Yeah.
But I am making my money back so I can continue to buy more and build that up so I can show them off. But also so that other people can have a chance, because right now I'm the point of contact. Right. This dude's not talking to anybody else. And and he won't. Right. So if these are going to get out to the world and anybody else is going to enjoy them, I'd like to, help kind of move that along.
If anyone here is listening who may have something of interest that Chase might like, please hit him up at, what is it again?
The official TCM Museum.
And the official TCM Museum on Instagram. Or if there's something that you might be looking for as far as an autograph or a poster, I feel like you might be a guy that can facilitate all things Leatherface, Texas Chain Saw. You would be the guy to help with. And you do seem like you're willing to help people out with things.
Absolutely. I'm on Facebook too, just under my name, Chase Andersen. You can find me, and my track record's impeccable. All my items are 110% authentic, bulletproof. I don't fuck around with fakes or anything like that.
There's differing opinions on where the chainsaw is. Your thoughts?
Chainsaw's gone.
That's what I think.
I mean, you have your opinion, but
there's you probably know the guy who claims that he has it, but it's not.
Yeah, I've also found the post where he says at the same time that it was found in a barn nearby where the movie was shot. Yeah. So that's their closest point of provenance. That just doesn't hold water.
Yeah, it wouldn't be there.
It wouldn't be there. They got rid of it because they got it on loan from somebody, and they
bought it from a neighbor, I think, right?
Yeah, they bought it from a neighbor and they gave it back after. There's no chance that's not the.
Yep.
If it helps you sleep at night and that's your claim to fame and it gets people in the door, I guess.
Right.
But at the same time, people think that the van that's at the gas station is the original van, and it's not the original van.
No.
So
that was probably also that belonged to someone in the production, I thought too.
Yeah,
right?
The van belonged to Ted Nicolau, the sound recordist.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And when the movie's over, and by the way, this movie became a cultural sensation long after it came out. Basically.
Oh yeah.
Like it found life. It was in the theaters and it got, news clippings for being banned in certain countries or whatever the fuck it was. But it wasn't a smash hit when it came out.
No.
VHS is what basically made it like a holy shit movie.
That's what made it the cult classic.
And that was 10, 12, 13 years later is when it really probably got some steam to it.
Yeah.
And at that point, shit's gone.
I've talked to Ted about it. He said, unfortunately, he regrets that he sold that van because, if he would have kept it, to this day, that thing would be worth,
of course,
a lot of money. Same with the pickup truck that was used for the getaway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who owned that?
You know what? That's a good question. I do know the answer. I don't have it on the top of my head.
Was it the guy driving?
No.
Okay.
No, he was a stunt driver, Perry Lorenz.
Okay.
He's a nice guy too. He works and lives in Austin. The original truck owner, I don't know.
Yep.
I want to say Ted, but I don't think that's right.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, there was no way for them to have any kind of foresight of what any of this stuff would become. Very few things have survived. There's a guy out there who has the hitchhiker's bag with the Polaroids and the foil. He also has Franklin's flashlight and the hammer that Grandpa used to hit Sally.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Somebody knows where the Black Maria big rig is, but they're not telling.
I can't believe that's still around.
It's still around. It's
somewhere in Texas?
It's in a barn somewhere. I don't know where.
Okay.
I've tried to find out. The owner wants ridiculous amounts of money, and it's probably will just never happen.
What's weird is like if you buy, is it a Peterbilt or is it a Mack truck or is it a Volt? What is it?
I think the one in the movie is a Peterbilt.
Okay. First of all, if it didn't have a connection to a film, it's expensive. Like those trucks are expensive.
Oh yeah.
Where the fuck are you going to put it? Where are you going to put it? And that's just like a museum install somewhere, where it's a full-on walk-in museum. I can get it. I can understand that, but
yeah.
But
No,
it's cool as hell.
For sure. But I mean, in my travels and my collecting adventures, I've met all kinds of people. There's a guy that I know who's a mortician, and he collects fire trucks.
No shit.
Fire trucks.
Full-size real fire trucks.
Fire truck.
Man.
Vintage, new fire trucks.
That guy is fulfilling a childhood desire.
Not baseball cards, fucking fire trucks.
Do you know how many he has?
I don't, but I mean, if
he has more than one, that's
hey,
insane.
dude, if you got it like that, get after it.
What would be your number one piece that you're looking for? I mean, I imagine the chainsaw is the piece.
A mask.
Yeah.
Mask.
Yep.
Yeah, a mask. After that,
did you get in on any of Gunner's clothes from the movie when Heritage sold that stuff?
no, the only thing that survived was his apron.
That was it?
Yeah.
The boots, though. I thought the boots.
No, the boots turned out to be a hoax.
No shit.
Yeah, they didn't. He said he tossed those.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, he said when they were done filming, those things got junked.
Because he didn't. They shot for what, 5 or 6 weeks?
Six.
Okay.
Something like that.
And Gunner did not change his clothes in the Texas heat for the entire shoot.
Right.
So people would talk about the smell inside the house, gagging from his BO, from the rotten food.
He had to go eat lunch by himself because nobody could sit next to him.
Yeah, I mean he's a big dude. First of all, dressed in like a full suit at many times, like a suit, tie, jacket, pants, leather boots, and a mask, sweating nonstop for 6 weeks
In the middle of summer Texas heat.
Yeah, he's gonna stink.
Brutal.
But I would take it happily.
No, for sure. And some other things survived. One of the arm lamps. If you go to Heritage, they have a small section of some of the props that survived that are in the hands of private collectors. I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that does.
Yep. I know.
Grandma too. Grandma's around. And one of the bone lamps in the hands of a private collector. So
What about the dummy, the Ed Neal dummy that got hit by the truck? That survived, or that's probably just gross guts went in the trash?
Yep. I do have one more thing here for you.
Yeah, please.
I hope you're interested.
Ooh.
If you're not, that's okay too. But on behalf of Exurbia Films and Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Oh man. Hell yeah, dude.
I don't know if you know, but we have a Texas Chainsaw Massacre maze at Universal Studios this year.
Dude, amazing. 2 tickets to Halloween Horror Nights.
Yep.
Oh my God. Dude, come by every week, please. That's amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome. Happy Halloween.
Do you have any part of that? Do you have any kind of insight to the to the maze?
I was actually very hands-on in helping them kind of fine-tune some things. It was in place to be part of the event for 2020, but as we all know, 2020 didn't happen for anybody.
Down the drain.
So they wrapped everything in cellophane and rolled it over to this year. And when they rolled it over to this year, which is the year I was onboarded with the company, they reached out to me for my opinions.
Amazing.
Everything that goes through licensing goes through me for approval. And so
I'm so happy it's you. I really am.
I am too. I feel like it really helps let people know that there is somebody paying attention. A lot of times in these situations, nobody's paying attention.
It's details.
As long as it doesn't look like shit, they get it signed off and it goes through. And then, then what happens? It looks like shit.
Have you been fortunate enough to get in costume at Halloween Horror Nights and be one of the scare guys?
No. It could be fun. I've already done that.
Yeah.
No, outside, I'd rather be part of the audience.
Every year then that comes around, I'm like, do I want to be a scare actor? I think that could be kind of fun because I do love scaring people. I love jump scaring people all the time. But
Yeah, it is fun.
I
It's
feel like it'd be
super fun.
exhausting to do like a 6-hour shift of like, whoa,
More like a 10-hour shift.
Is it really? Is that what it
Well,
is?
you got pre-show, then you got an 8-hour window for your shift.
And they go through full makeup and for a lot of that
I mean,
stuff.
even if it's a mask, you still got to get there and suit up and get ready. So you're going from 6 till 2 in the morning. Then you got to, wind down. That puts you at 3 o'clock.
Right.
If you got the time, totally. I thought about it. I have the flexibility now where I can be a monster someplace because I work from home. But
next year,
I don't know, dude. It sounds exhausting.
you and I do 1 month in the Universal Leatherface house.
The other thing I thought about that was too,
What?
I don't get to go do the stuff.
That's true. That's true.
Then I miss out on the event.
Or just moonlight one night as Leatherface could be
Which
pretty
would be
amazing.
cool. Now that I would do that.
Like
I
a
would-
guest spot.
Yeah, no, totally. I would do that. It's incredible this year. So I did help them put some of the stuff together, make it super tight.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really honored.
I went 2019. I went. Did you? Was it still the same people
Yeah.
overseeing it then? Because
Yeah.
that was the best I'd seen it.
The Blood
so
Brothers
far.
one?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yep. It felt real. It felt good.
I was really honored that they were receptive to my feedback. It's Universal Studios. You guys know what you're doing. You don't need my help,
Yeah.
but you're listening to what I have to say.
And they have the resources to make it right.
It was just very special that they listened to me.
They couldn't have chosen someone better. I mean, honestly, it's like I said, as a fan, I'm stoked that you're the guy overseeing the direction of what fans see as far as
Thank you.
merchandise and handling the history of it with such respect because it really does matter.
That means a lot.
You're basically preserving what the film means to people.
That
So
means a
it's-
lot to hear that. I don't hear that all the time because I'm immersed in it. So
Of course.
not
of
that I
course.
take it for granted. I'm just this is my life.
Yep.
Right. Texas Chainsaw is kind of my life.
Yep.
So to be able to hear that people are stoked on what I'm doing and trying to do really means a lot because that's my goal. Is I want people to be as stoked as I am.
Yep.
Especially with the maze. So when you go through the maze, check it out. It's pretty wild. I'm actually trying to make it back on Friday. I don't know if I will, but
Does it go? When does it shut down? When does it stop?
Halloween's the last day.
It is Halloween night.
Halloween night,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. I'll get down there 100%.
It is.
Maybe we'll coordinate and go together.
It's fucking out of control.
Awesome.
Out of control. And not because of anything that I did very, very little. What they brought to the table was the meat and potatoes of it.
Of course.
I told them, don't make it white, make it red.
Beautiful. Well, dude, thank you so much for coming in. I'm really
Yeah.
stoked that we met a couple years ago.
Yeah, me too.
And I consider you a friend now.
Totally.
And please come back again, and we'll dig into other kind of stuff
I'd
or
love
whatever.
to.
But
it's not just Texas Chainsaw. I'm into all different kinds
that's what I mean. We can do all kinds
weird
of shit.
ass shit.
Yeah,
We can get as fucked up as you want.
absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
I appreciate it very much, and I really don't know what to say about
You're
this
welcome.
guy. I mean, that's. I literally, the spindle has been something I've been thinking about since I think I saw it either on one of your pages or something, but I knew I wanted a piece of the house. The chainsaw door was, no chance. Do you know where that is? The chainsaw door, the door he cut open?
No.
Yeah.
No.
That'd be a cool
I
one.
know where the screen door is at, but
Oh, that's cool.
I think the prop door got trashed.
Probably.
If I had to guess.
Because very few things were actually cut by the saw, so it's neat.
Yeah.
But I always wanted a piece of the house because, like we said, it's a character in the film. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
For that.
I'm glad it's going to somebody who's going to appreciate it the way it deserves.
It's amazing. Leatherchase, thank you very much.
Leatherchase,
Leatherchase. Chase Andersen, thank you very much. You can follow him at the official TCM Museum on Instagram. And happy Halloween, dude.
Happy Halloween.
And everybody else, we'll be back next week.
This is Lola, and I'm here to tell the world to stop being such pussies and listen to Rare Form Radio.